everyone. I'm here today with Simon Roberts, and we're here today to talk about the Cheviot Goat. How are you? Have you thawed out yet? Are you warm?
Hi Emily. Yeah, I'm all thawed out now, nice and warm, and yes, pretty much recovered now as well. Legs are feeling back to normal. It was pretty rough on Sunday and Monday. Yeah, trouble getting up and down the stairs and sitting on the toilet and whatnot. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Do
So, can you just give us a brief
you want
introduction
me to interview you now?
a brief introduction into how you got into ultra running, and what inspired you to kind of go into these longer distances?
Yeah, it's been running about 10 years now. I started off from my sister signed me up to an obstacle course race. And I started doing a bunch of those races like Tough Mudder and all that. So I've done them for a while, and I was enjoying the running side of it. So that's what I just morphed into then, and just focused on running, and that was it. Started off with half marathons. My first mountain race was Man v Horse in mid Wales, so a pretty tough mountain race that to start off on, and yeah, the distances just kept on growing and growing. I think like my first ultra marathon was the Gower Ultra in Swansea. It was a stunning 50-mile route around the Gower Peninsula, and then they had the series of ultra races in Brecon Beacons called Might Contain Nuts. So those were my first mountain ultras. Um, yeah, just really enjoyed doing that sort of stuff and really enjoyed challenging myself. I wasn't really competitive in those times. Yeah, was just glad to get around, and that's all I could handle was just getting around back in those days. But just enjoyed it and carried on doing it, never stopped. Yeah.
And then, you won the Cheviot Goat. You make it sound so easy.
Oh,
um
I've done quite a bit before winning the Cheviot Goat. Yeah, no, I've won some big stuff over the years, but yeah, I started getting fit and competitive around about say 2019. Where my first big race was Dragon's Back 2019, where I was in like the top 30 or something, so it was not bad. But then that was the same year as my first Cheviot Goat, where I came third. So that was the first time I had a podium. Yeah. So,
Amazing. So for those who don't know, can you give us an idea of what the Cheviot Goat is, and what drew you to such a race, both in the past and now?
yeah. So the Cheviot Goat is a 60-mile ultramarathon in Northumberland in a bunch of hills called the Cheviot Hills. They advertise as 55 miles, but it's not. It's always 60 miles. So don't listen to that. And so it's just below the Scottish border. It's on this big old exposed rock, basically. So it gets absolutely smashed by the elements. If it's windy there, it's stupidly windy. And it's the same for everything. Like the weather is always a bit more extreme in those parts just because of the exposure. And yeah, it's a really bleak place as well. So it's like it feels like really depressing, but then at the same time it's also stunning as well. So it's a mad place, really rough terrain as well. It's famous for all the peat bogs. It's generally the whole ground is just a peat bog. Um, I remember I got drawn to it the first time. It was from Dragon's Back 2019 when we just sat around eating food, and I was just hearing people talk about this race, the Cheviot Goat. So that's what drew me to it. Yeah, so I went for it then in the December that same year. And yeah, it's true. Yeah, the bogs were extreme, especially on the course they had back then. Yeah, you're going through basically these bog pools. It goes going up to your waist and that sometimes. But they've taken out some of those bogs now in the course, but still, it's just a nasty boggy course basically. That's the best way to describe it.
So what do you have to take into consideration in comparison to, say, your average mountain ultra? You've mentioned the bogs, but what else do you kind of have to take into consideration?
So you need to be prepared for really bad weather. Um, Dangerous weather. If you get caught out in it, yeah, you're going to get into trouble. So for the race itself, there's two aid stations, so there's a lot amount of time that you are out on the course on your own. So you need to have get all the right layers, and you need to make sure you got all your food as well and drink that's going to last you a while. It may be 60 miles, but it's a 24-hour race for some people. Some people will be out there all day and all night. I always take my hat off to those people. I remember my first Cheviot Goat where I'd finished on the Saturday evening, slept in the car, left the next morning, and there were still runners running across the road to the finish. So
Wow.
yeah, it's mad. Yeah, and they were in a storm all night. Um, it's a rough place if the weather hits bad. Yeah,
Amazing. So, it's obviously, we're in December.
yeah.
Yeah, do you think that adds kind of a whole different element to it? Do you think it would be easier to run in a summer? And do you think maybe that's what gives it kind of a nice
So
different.
funny you should say that. The 2021 race got cancelled because of all the storms, that huge storm they had up in Northumberland that literally flattened the place. So they couldn't have the race in December, so they had it in the following March. And yeah, it was a whole different experience because we were wearing shorts and t-shirt instead of wearing three layers and leggings and hats and gloves. So yeah, it was a much different experience. Still very slow course though, still soaking wet and boggy. But yeah, we had beautiful skies, sun. It was stunning. Yeah, and it's a beautiful place when you go there at that time of year. But yeah, really such a different experience then, but still good.
Amazing. Do you
Mm.
want to tell me a bit about your race this year then? Did you enter kind of hoping you'd win or at least kind of hit podium?
Yeah, so like I said, it's my third time, and I've always been on the podium on that race, so it would have been rude not to go on the podium again. Um, but I entered quite late. I've been injured for most of the year, so it was pretty much my first race back where I've been fit and strong. So just using it as a big test just to see where I am with my fitness at the moment, and yeah, pretty happy with the result and how I performed, and the body held up pretty well. So yeah, it's good
Amazing.
result. Yeah.
Excellent result.
Mm.
What were some of the kind of times you went through um during the race? What were some parts that you found quite difficult during the route? Have they changed the route slightly? Cause have they taken out some of the bogs?
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, so it's my third time, and the course is always different. But the first year they ran it the opposite way round because there were extreme winds at a certain point of the day, so they wanted everybody to get the Cheviot, the highest bit, done before the big winds hit. And then yeah, and they've always do little amendments to the course. So there's always a few little surprises thrown in here and there, which is quite cool. Yeah, it's quite fresh. Um, yeah, so some of the moments from this year's race I remember, things that stick out with me. Um, I guess it's I was running with James Nobles for a bit, so he's a I was racing James at Dragon's Back 2022. He managed to beat me, so it was good to see him again, and done some running with him. Good to see him. So I was with him at the start, and then about 10 miles in, then we split up, and I shot off. I had a bit of a low point straight away. I had a stitch. Sorry, my dog's spinning around. um, yeah, this big stitch, and he was with me for about an hour or two. Yeah, it was really, really annoying. I could not get rid of it. I think I ate a bit too quickly at the start.
They
So
are they are one of the worst things about running, I
yeah, I
think.
know. Like I said, I haven't done much racing or running this year, so it was a shock, and I was trying to work out to get rid of it, but there's no way, is it? You just got to
No.
wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was pretty rough. And then there was also the time where we started hitting, I would say, yeah, the proper snow, and it just really, really slowed you down. So when we've got, when you've got a foot of snow on top of really deep bogs, like bogs with a frozen layer on top of them, your legs are falling through it, and it's just so slow, and it's a bit soul destroying. You think you're being really, really rubbish, but it's the same for everyone. I think, yeah. That was really, really tough. I really struggled with the snow. And as I was in the front, I was trail breaking for some of it as well, and there was no tracks or footprints in front of me, so I was getting lost quite a bit,
Mm.
especially on the high ground on the Cheviot. There's padstones, a padstones path that'll take you all the way to the Cheviot, all the way to the summit,
Mm.
but I couldn't find that path. So I guess he was just white. So it was really tough. Um, and then yeah, it's a long race. It's a long day out. We were out there for 13 hours. So yeah, the last few hours then I was just really struggling. My eating slowed down, so I was slowed down. I was ready to finish it then. Yeah, just got to be patient on those last couple of hours because yeah, it's really hard in those moments.
Yeah. What sort of things were you eating then? Do you have to kind of take the cold into consideration with what you're eating? So
I
things
wasn't
kind of
exactly prepared.
freeze.
Yeah, I wasn't prepared very well for eating. To be honest, I just went total gels. So yeah, when you do that for like 10 hours on gels, your stomach doesn't really agree with it, and he'll let you know about that. So I was struggling. Yeah, wasn't prepared. Should have yeah, I should have had some sandwiches and stuff in there as well. I think just to settle the stomach.
Well, when you win next year, then you'll know, won't you? So
Oh, so I'm going back next year, am I?
yeah.
I don't know.
So, um, so what was your kit like? What did you have a certain amount of kit that you had to take with you?
Yeah, there's always a kit list on races, isn't there? But fair play to the Cheviot guys. They don't go over the top. They don't go over the top on the kit. They do expect you to be competent. The guys who turn up to the race to be competent. So yeah, it's a standard bit of kit, really. I think you just need to have spare base layers, spare leggings in a dry bag, and you need to have a spare mid layer as well, not worn at the start. It was tough, really. I didn't know what to decide on what to wear. The rain wasn't forecast, so I knew I wasn't going to need a shell, so I was just going to have the shell in the bag. But when I arrived in the morning, my car said it was -7, so I was thinking, right, I'm going to be cold, but then I'm also thinking I'm going to be moving fast. So it's a hard thing to balance, you know. But then I bumped into James at the start, and I saw he was wearing almost nothing. So I thought, oh well, if he's going for that, then yeah, maybe I'll give it a go as well. So I just had I just had the Montane Dark Thermo base layer and the Proteum light fleece, just 2 layers, and it was absolutely perfect. Yeah, so I wore all day, even up on the Cheviot where it was really freezing. I just had to move a bit quicker just to stay warmer. But yeah, no, I was pretty comfortable all the way around, to be fair. So it was good.
You have to kind of find that balance, don't you? That thin line between I'm warm but I'm not sweating.
Yeah,
How do you find you do that maybe during training runs through the cold?
yeah, but that's the thing. Yeah, normally you would want to train in the conditions and you get an idea then you because you don't want to be too hot. You don't want to be ripping off your layers after 5 minutes. That's just annoying. So yeah, but like yeah, but it's still quite mild in Wales. It's still about 8 degrees, so I couldn't prepare for the -8 degrees that was up north in Northumberland. So I just had to play it by ear on the morning and see how I felt. Yeah, so I was freezing my ass off standing around for the race briefing and the start. But once we got going, me and James shot off quick, so we warmed up quick. It worked out well for us.
I always think if I'm freezing on the start line, that's a good thing because then I know
Yeah,
I'm not going to be taking loads of layers off. If I'm
yeah. I
warm
mean,
on the
it's a bit
start
of
line.
yeah, it's uncomfortable at the start, but it's worth it because you won't be stopping and changing layers and whatnot 5 minutes into the race. Yeah.
What shoes were you wearing, and did you kind of choose to go with waterproof socks, or what were you wearing on your feet?
So socks, no, I never go with waterproof socks. They can make your feet just a bit warm and sweaty, and that's when your feet can fall apart.
Yeah.
I'd rather have cold wet feet than warm wet feet.
Mm.
So yeah, I just went for a normal toe socks. Um, and then my shoes were the Scarpa Spin STs. which is their fell shoe that came out this year. So awesome fast fell shoe with 7 mil lugs. Yeah, I was going to pick that shoe anyway because of how wet the ground is up there. So you need some good grip. But they were awesome in the snow as well. It was just gripping all the snow. Wasn't slipping around. It's just yeah, class shoe. Yeah, love them. Awesome.
Amazing. So what did it feel like kind of those last couple of miles? Were you quite far ahead of second place, and how did it feel to finish?
I think I was only going by what people have said. People who are watching a tracker. I had like a 20-minute lead generally, but then towards the end, my eating had slowed, and I was slowing down just because of that. And then the last couple of hours, it was pitch black then, so I was looking behind me and I could see head torches. Then that was the first time I saw people behind me. So I knew I was slowing down, but James was speeding up a bit as well because I saw his mum and dad towards the end, and they were saying he's coming for you. um, so I knew he was pretty strong at the end. But yeah, I had a big gap, and I think I had about a 13-minute lead in the end. So he did gain about 7 minutes on me. But yeah, big gap. So I wasn't that stressed, to be honest, even though I knew his head torch was getting brighter and brighter. But on the final descent, yeah, I knew I'd won, so I just chilled out then and got into Ingram Cafe and met all the guys at the finish.
What motivates you to do these kind of winter ultras? Because lots of people, and like Dragon's Back, because most people will, they'll go for the nice warm ones where the weather's going to be nice, and even the mountain ultras at Snowdon in summer, they're cold at the top, but
Yeah,
overall you kind of have a nice
yeah,
day out. What do you think motivates you to do these colder ones?
yeah. No, in Snowdonia in the summer, I've been to races that have been called off because of the weather. So
Yeah, it's mental, isn't it?
yeah. So why do I pick like winter races?
Mm.
I pick all races, but I do love winter races. I love getting kitted out for the winter. I don't know why. It's a good feeling getting all the clothes on and just getting stuck into it. It's good. It's good. It's good running. I prefer it. I do enjoy running in the summer. I don't mind the sun, but I'm more comfortable in the cold. I think yeah. Do it just yeah, just move better. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love being. I do like being out in shit weather in the mountains. It's
Proper,
just
proper Welshman.
yeah, it's just something about it. Yeah, it's great. It's just good fun.
Amazing.
Good for the soul.
Definitely. So are you training for anything coming up? And are you going to go back to the Cheviot next year?
Yeah, got winter spine race next month. So
Amazing.
yeah, I don't know if it was 5 weeks away now. So
Something like
yeah,
that, yeah.
anyway, that's the next one. That's my main race now. Yeah, the Cheviot Goat was a warm up to
Mm.
see where I'm at in fitness. So yeah, ready to take on the full spine in January. Apart from that, I've got Dragon's Back again in next September. So yeah, that's something I keep going back to as well. That's like my residency now. It's just so easy for me. I've only got to get a lift to Cardiff, and then the bus takes us to the start, and it's a run home then.
Yeah.
Ideal. Yeah.
What are some of your hopes for the spine?
Well, I'm there to win. Yeah, there's no secret.
Yeah.
It's an absolute stellar lineup as well this year. They haven't had a lineup like this in years. It's just yeah.
It's
I don't know if there's like 5 past winners. I think yeah, it could be. So it's going to be good. Yeah,
it's going to be
looking forward to
excellent.
it.
It's going to be excellent. Thank you very much for coming on with me today. I'll definitely be, hopefully coming out onto the Pennine Way at some point and trying
All
to
right, cool.
everybody come past. So
Yeah.
excellent. Great. Good luck for spine because it's going to
Oh,
be
thank you.
amazing. Thank
I
you.
will. Yeah. Right. Thank you.